of the big things you're running on is less government, which means lowering taxes, obviously. What is your plan for that?
When we talk about lowering taxes, we talk about getting rid of corruption. We talk about getting rid of inefficiency. Our president talks about draining the swamp. It's true, and that's what's causing the high taxes, or at least the way that if we get rid of that, we can lower taxes.
It's not that the American dream is dead. It's that people have lost the drive to work for it. People want things handed to them nice and easy.
When people get comfortable with living off the government and kind of having this quasi-socialist government, I don't think it's good for our country.
Yeah, because then the government decides that they're taking it away and you're left with nothing.
Yeah, and that's going to happen. And it's not because the government's mean, but it's because there's a limited amount of money. There's only so much that can go around. That there isn't is one of the lies that people have been told. I mean, everybody knows when they go home, there's a limited amount of money. You have to balance your budget. The government is the same way. Money comes from somewhere.
I don't know who we're in debt to. Like, how can the whole world be in debt? That doesn't make any sense.
China. We're in debt to China.
I think and I think right now, like after this whole coronavirus, China should forgive our debt. I think they do need to pay, and I think that's one of the ways they're going to do it.
Walmart and Target can be open, but your local shops can't because they're too small to keep clean apparently, or they're too small to be able to have people social distance. What would you bring to the Fed in order to help these small businesses get up and running without increasing taxes or increasing spending too much?
It's wrong that the small businesses shouldn't be running and big businesses should. Small businesses are struggling, and that's the mom and pop shops. There's so many families that are really, really struggling from that. If you're at a high risk, if you have the virus, or if you need or choose to stay home, you can work from home. But for the other people who are taking care of themselves, go out with a mask and with all the precautions. My brother had cancer for 2.5 years. He had a low immune system for his entire life. And he wouldn't walk out without a mask when his immune system was really low. And he understood that his life was at danger. And I think we can all do that as Americans, as common sense individuals. We can understand that when our life is at danger, we want to take precautions. And the government shouldn't have to say that you can't go to work, because we want to work, and that's a good thing. We should be incentivizing people to go out and work.
Another big thing that we had a problem with before this virus is that a large portion of our economy, a lot of our medicine and stuff like that, and essentials were coming from China. How do we avoid that pitfall next time we have something like the coronavirus, where we can avoid a lockdown, where we don't have to wait on supplies? What is the way that we bring back, manufacturing of these things back to the United States?
Yes, that's kind of my area, as a chemical engineer, pharmaceuticals and, rare earth elements, which are two things that China really controls the industry of. As a supplier, you don't want to make everything in one place. So if something happens, your entire supply is down. So putting everything in China is a really bad decision. I think we should bring majority of it back to America, because we need to increase American jobs. And at the end of the day, we know that we can really only rely on ourselves. And so I think we need to start bringing things back, and we will. But I also think it's diversifying portfolios, where taking stuff out of China, bringing it back to America, and also a little bit in other countries, so that in case something happens in America, something happens in another country, we have supplies that we can reach into and take out to protect Americans.
How are you going to be able to fight back in the House against someone like Nancy Pelosi, who apparently has an iron grip on a lot of the members in the House?
I think it's about calling it out for what it is. They get away with messaging. They make it almost seem like they're the good guys. And we can come up and say, no, that's not what we want. That's not what's going to help us. That's not true. And just throwing the truth in their face. Basically, for all intents and purposes, get your facts straight before you put emotion into it.
Moving on to our last little segment. You told us about a little story, a little inside information you had on everyone's favorite Congresswoman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and her little Green New Deal while you were at Columbia.
I'm an environmental engineer, and her writer came, and I went with my friend. I said, wow, that sounds like a lot. How do you plan on paying for that? And they spoke about the government having an unlimited amount, kind of brush saying, there's a lot of money in the federal government. And I said, but that's coming from us. You can't, there isn't an unlimited amount of money, and you never asked us if we wanted to pay for this. So now you're saying that this is something that you're making us all invest in. So let's see if we even want to invest in it, right? Let's see if it's even a good idea, because you're about to use our money for this. We should have a say. So it's so hypocritical. And there's just so much kind of in the basic science that was lacking. And it was just all messaging like, oh, we should get rid of this, we should get rid of that, we should get rid of this. And I think we can all agree that it's good to clean up the environment. The question is, does the government impose their control onto our lives to clean up the environment. And that's the thing that they just fail to address.